Hi everybody, Mature Simmer here. So welcome to another new item here on the channel that I'm taking a look at. So came across a few weeks ago this sim project Highrise. So if you're familiar with Sim Tower back in the day, this is kind of that on steroids to some degree. So a little bit more depth, a little bit more involved. So I figured I'd go ahead and share a little bit of that with you here, and we'll see how things go along. So I think the simplest way to jump in, or one of the cleanest ways, because at least we have some goals, is to jump into what they call scenarios. So, the system comes with a good amount. The sale they had on basically made it a pretty good deal to get the bundle. This game is now coming on about a decade old, it looks like. I think it was released in 2016, but they keep adding some updates here and there. So there's some additional add-ons, but I think it was like $10 to get everything. And enjoyed it so far. So I'm going to go ahead, I think, and work on the merchandise mart. So you can see difficulty's easy. When it opened in 1930, Merchandise Mart in Chicago was the largest building in the world. While it's not extremely tall, it sits on a massive lot that covers nearly 2 entire city blocks. It's so massive that it has its own subway station and postal code. Your challenge is to duplicate that achievement. You've got the same lot size and height restrictions as the Mart. You're also starting with a subway station and an embryonic commercial center. Create a commercial empire under one massive roof. Also in 1930, there was a tiny little issue of the Great Depression, so you're also going to have to deal with a not-so-great economy. Good luck. Alright, so this is typical. You basically get a bronze, silver, and a gold scenario goal, and kind of once you're done, that is when you win the scenario. So we need to create a building of epic size and profitability, and then in spite of the raging depression, create a prestigious and prosperous mart, and make the mart the biggest building in the world while you're at it. If you hover over these, so we need a floor area of 210 to 1500, and we want daily revenues of 20,000. Then we want 40,000. We need to get our prestige from 1 star to 20, and again, floor area a little bit bigger, so another 1,000 spaces, and have a population of 250, and we're starting out here with 36. So game basically runs at 2 speeds. It does take a bit of time, so if you've not gone into it, I guess let me give you kind of a quick little tour of what we have. So obviously, ground level here. It'll be interesting to see kind of what our limit is. So let's see, I think, well, that's the grid, but well, maybe. Okay, I didn't think the Merchandise Mart had 17 floors, but it looks like maybe it did. So we can go 10 floors down, 17 up. So, it's a 27-story building. So certainly not a small situation. And initially here, you're going to have various kinds of things. And obviously if you start with a new game, you can just start with kind of nothing as a footprint, I think. But if you click on these things, you'll see kind of what they are, and you can get familiar with what they need. So they need copy services, they need bottled water, they expect courier and copy services, they need an electric line. For some reason they're unhappy, but it could be that things are it needs an electric line, so we probably know everything's good. So, as I'm going through this, obviously, and trying to explain it to you, I'm going to keep things moving along. So, we've got our subway station here. That simply gets people in the building. Looks like we've got some restaurants down here, so we've got a wrap that's operating during breakfast and lunch, and coffee and breakfast. So right now those appear to be the only restaurants in the building, so there's nothing for people to eat in the afternoon. or evenings, so that may certainly be something to look at. And then you've got the building services. So we've got the courier, we've got office supplies. You're going to have a maintenance office, which, good news, we don't have to do any work with them right now. And then the construction office you need. And then you've got some initial facilities. So we've got some electricity, where we can get 20, and you can see it's an operating cost of $250 a day. So these two operate for $500. But what you find if you go to the utilities here is you can go to a closet, and I can have 50 connections for $750 a day instead. So I am going to go ahead, well, let me take a look before I go crazy. Yeah, it's 2,000. So we're going to go ahead and place that, and then I'm going to remove these. And, you know, right now we're good, you know, because we needed 14. That's what we've got. And then, whoops, if you click on the people, it does that. So we've got the copy center as well. So you can do construction here, utilities here. Obviously the bulldozer gets rid of things. This is office space. This would be apartments, but as you can see, where they're not available in this particular scenario. Hotel and event, retail, restaurants, and then we can do support services here as we need them. You can add building consultants that add some capabilities, decorative items, and then we've got contracts here. So let's see. I wonder why retail foundation. I see. Prestige needs to be at least 2 before I can do that. So more people needed, and basic offices. So if we do that, Department of Planning and Development wants to ensure the city commercial tax base is diversified and not overly dependent on any one sector. To that end, they'd like you to move in 16 small offices. So we're going to sign this contract. You can have 2 at a time, and then more people needed, increase the population. So definitely let's do that. And that will give us some targets. So you know, we can hide that. It gives us some initial money to begin with. You know, and the real question, I tend to not build underground. I kind of put the building services underground, and then everybody else goes up above. So we're gonna add a new floor. I'm not gonna expand out yet, so I'm gonna go up first just to kind of keep things close. But the other thing I am going to plan ahead on here, I'm gonna go ahead and whoops, add more floor pieces. And you have to start from the ground floor, as you might imagine. So I'm going to do this, and I'm going to put in, because I just want to make sure, I think, yeah, we're kind of in the center-ish, so that's fine. Because what I'm looking to do is I want to get the other infrastructure in here, and I'm just going to put one in there for now. But the plan will be that just like we have the phone closets and so forth, whoops, I just realized I have a problem because I got rid of the wiring closet, and so there would be no way for those things to get to various places. So, but you know, people will pay rents. They'll be working at a certain point in time, and so you know, you're kind of keeping track of things. You know, we've got 2 construction people to begin with. You can eventually expand as you go along, but you can see if we speed up, it doesn't go substantially faster. So you know, there's just the 2 speeds. It's not as if I can click on it and go even faster. But you can see we need basically 4 of each type of office. And so as these things go, you know, we're going to get some small offices here. And so basically getting the footprint set is free all the time. And you can't do anything until basically the construction crew frames things out and gives you kind of that drywall space. So down here we don't have any windows because we're underground. But basically what I want to do is kind of build a shaft. And you know what? Now that I think about it, I see they're already kind of prepared. So poor me, I was rushing along. So I'm going to do that, because right now, if I can just stay on each side of the elevator shaft, that way I'm not encroaching into areas. Because what I did learn is, you know, bigger offices, so I think these are probably medium offices. Okay, so we have just a lobbyist in place. So that gives us some capabilities. So if we go to politics, you'll see, you know, we already have, you can only have one lobbyist, but that will open things up as we gain more prestige. And basically you gain prestige as you can see with population. So as we get 4 more people, we're going to get 1 more star. That's going to open up additional things. But what I can do is now scope these out, and then we can run the infrastructure up here. We'll also probably then be able to put, if we need to, a recycling bin, because they're also 1 wide. But now that we have these offices, we can decide kind of what we want. We need some creatives, so let's make sure. Okay, so they need an electrical and a phone line. We have all that. And really, usually the best thing is just, you know, pick someone that's giving you the most rent. The thing you find is if you leave that screen and don't take someone, sometimes those tenants are immediately gone. Alright, so we're going to put a bunch of creatives in here to begin with. So we're going to move in artistic design, and then we're going to go ahead, avant-garde. It's 160, so that's even better. But they needed electricity and a phone line. So I need to get the closet up there. And then we need to run electrical lines over. And you just need to get them into the space. So you don't have to, you know, go everywhere. But obviously you need to connect from your wiring closets. But those are there. And then as they build these out, we'll continue. But as you can see, the 2 construction guys came over and are working on the offices right away. And right now it's 6 o'clock at night, so most people have gone home. Lobbyist is still here, burning the 6 p.m. oil, but I'm sure they're going to end up going home soon. And then we're going to need some additional food and so forth, I'm sure. Keeping the lobby empty right now because there's things we can put in there eventually, and you know, I don't think having offices and things there make a lot of sense, but people can walk by anything. It's not as if they can't get through. But we need to get and revenues come in at the end of the day. So the key is to kind of not get ahead of your skis, as the saying goes. What you don't want to do is start having more expenses than you have income. And so, you know, you do have some reporting here. So, you know, we can go in here. We can look at our budget. So we've got that. Construction costs, you know, right now we don't have, you know, any rent that came in yet, but we will. So you can see what we've got. But the benefit of the construction guys building, so we're going to speed things up a bit, is tenants will then come in, and of course if you get tenants, they'll start to pay rent. And so they focus on, if there's facilities to build out, they'll divert from just framing out the space and then go do that. And sometimes you get people in overnight, but sometimes you don't. You know, so the biggest challenge is going to be You know, are we going to need more phones and so forth? But I think we'll be okay. So there you go. Total revenue, total expenses. But again, some of the expenses were because we built things out. I mean, we put in a lot of, we put in a whole new floor, for goodness sakes. But this is really the big number, 305 a day. But if I can get these office spaces done, so I'm definitely going to go ahead, and we'll keep these construction guys. I am just struggling today. So yeah, we're going to get these construction guys in here. And again, we might shrink the floor one. So he's coming in, getting that done. But if I can get those guys, so let's see. Now hold on. I need a couple lawyers and an insurance agent. So that's what we'll do. So we'll put the insurance agent over here. So they just need, as you can see, they just need an electrical line. But that's why then they pay less. And then we need a couple lawyers. So we're going to do them. They also just need an electrical line. Right, and then what ends up happening, well, we won't be able to quite tell just yet, is I would now, if I wanted more lawyers, I need to run an ad to advertise for more lawyers, to basically say, hey, we're looking for law firms to move into our office. But I'm going to try to keep these episodes as is typical. Whoops. Well, that's the last thing we want to do, because that ends up being a problem. So let's stretch this over, because A, no one will rent it, but it also kind of starts with negative prestige. So actually, people did rent it. Oh, that's right. When they come in and they build out, they usually do rent the offices pretty quickly. But you can also see, so we're gonna hit a couple things. Well, we already did hit 40. I didn't even realize that as our offices filled out. So we've already achieved that. But, you know, you're always trying to keep an eye on, you know, are we running short? Because otherwise it'll be a problem. But certain offices need more things. The yellow icon tells you there's something new. So now that we're at this location, we can now do medium offices. And as you can see, we can't do large offices until our prestige gets to 9. But, you know, the good news is, before normal business hours, we should have all our offices ready to go, which means tonight we're going to have all 6 of these offices as additional rental, because you don't get anything from there. You will down here at the daily rent. You know, you've also want to keep an eye out, because you can see revenues yesterday were only $26, but they didn't have the full day. We started kind of late in the day, I think. But, you know, some of this will be, as things get built out, that will help, because otherwise people will leave because they're not making enough money. So this guy was close, 95, and they've got some regulars, which also helps. And you can adjust rent and so forth, but typically, especially on these initial scenarios, I haven't found the need to do that. You know, the challenge we're going to have is, again, it's the Great Depression. There's going to be a bit more difficulty. So we'll go out of that. Now you can see the yellow went away. Let's move things along. And what do we need? We need one more creative. Question is, do we want to build things out? It's interesting that, like, the door doesn't look like it has a door to that office, which is obviously wrong, but... Alright, so now all those people have come to work, and hopefully that means they'll come down. There you go. So now they're getting a little bit busy. Now, again, they've only got 54, They're gaining some regular customers, so they've got that. Let's see, they're up to 104 already, and it's, it is the afternoon. I mean, we are running at a pretty big speed. But the problem ends up being if they're not making a profit, meaning that they don't make more than they bring in rent, that can add up pretty quickly. So I need to be a little bit conservative in what I'm doing, but I think I'm going to keep building up. So we're going to go here, and I'm basically going to go out to this location. I need to get the elevator up there, and always get the wiring closet, because obviously we're going to need electricity. But at this point I can get the one creative office in there, and then we'll have this done, and then we'll have additional demand for things. And then we'll start to figure out, because I think I need to start moving out. But the problem is, especially if I keep the lobby open for a while, there's going to be some good expense there that isn't going to make us any money. Well, at a minimum, we know we're going to need electricity. So I'm going to run an electric line over here. Well, actually, because we got to do creatives, we also know we need phone. So we'll go ahead and get that in there, because we know that's what we're going to need. You don't have to remember these. I don't know that I necessarily do. I just obviously put those creative offices in here recently, so that helps. So we'll go ahead here, put that in, right click. So you can see here, we have to place an ad for $100 if we want any more lawyers. Alright, so we're going to do inspired design. They're not looking for anything else, but the demands for new things and bigger things get higher and higher, is what starts happening. So again, we're going to get this built out overnight. Question is, will we have it done before midnight? I think we will, and so then that should all add to the rents. So there we go. We completed the contract basic offices. We got our $1,000 reward, and more lucrative contracts may be available. So got 43 people. Let's go see. And so, yeah, now we can do retail foundation or industry diversification. So this would be 12 medium offices. And then retail, create a broad foundation for future retail expansion. So, you will not be able to build medium stores unless you complete the contract. But what do I need to do? Like, it doesn't give me... Like, here it tells me that I need to plan for 12 medium offices. So, we'll sign it. Okay. So, alright, so we need to have 35 visitors in the building at one time. That takes a bit. I'll tell you that, because I do remember the scenario I did before. Trying to get to 25 was hard. Alright, so let's see. Alright, so we made a little bit. Again, we spent a good amount of money. Ooh, we're only making $70. Ooh. Alright, so I gotta be careful. I mean, it's the old you gotta make money, build money to make money, or spend money to make money, not build money to make money. Alright, so I basically need 6 stores, but I'm gonna go ahead and expand this out a bit and start tacking on stores, because right now, okay, bottled water services needed. Do we not have bottled water services? So let's see, we need to build support services, not present, but it is demanded. So can we get them in here? We can, in fact. Well, you know what, I'm not going to put them on that floor, because as the building expands, it's better to have other things present there. So the other thing that is nice to have is moving services, but I don't know that we can do that right away. Let's see. Yeah, those are just the building amenities. Handyman, plumber, package. Do I have a mover already, or do we not get a mover? That makes no sense. So, janitorial. Because, yeah, I don't see movers even available. I don't remember. Well, maybe we already have them. Hold on. Building staff. A mover's office. Okay. So I'm going to spend money for this, too, at this point. Because what that allows us to do is move people around the building. So as I try to change locations and the building expands and suddenly I determine maybe in the center this is going to be a retail empire entirely, you know, we then need that capability to move people around. Whoops. We, again, don't have electricity, so you don't want to leave anything for too long. I don't think the services would leave, but other things would. All right, so we have electricity there. Let's see, do they need a phone? Doesn't look like it. You know, and the challenge is, though, it's $250 a day. These guys are going to cost us $75 a day, but they're going to keep other tenants happy. All right. So, but they don't pay rent. So that's the bit of a challenge that we have. All right, so I don't, again, want to put anything on the ground floor, so this ground floor is just to kind of start with the retail space. Okay, so hold on. There's a problem in one of your elevator shafts. Okay. So people traveling will experience much longer than usual. No one likes waiting, and this will undoubtedly make them unhappy. If you have a building maintenance office, they'll send someone up as soon. If you don't have one, I would think about one right away. So, but we do. The maintenance workers are already there doing their thing. All right, so now we can go ahead and do retail space. So food and beverage, portable electronics. Okay, so this is what I wanted to see. So I really need to go out at least 2 more in my building. So we're going to go here, here, and here. All right. So we'll start with the easy ones, food and beverage. Okay, so we need a storeroom for retail. So we're adding 6 right away. So the challenge ends up being, so this is storage bays. All right, and we can only do 1 to begin with. And these only do 4 is my problem. But let's see, because I can't, all right, I need a prestige of 3. 400 per day. See, but it's going to cost me 1,000 to build 2 of those, or it's going to cost me 1,500. But I'll be good. So I really need to get to, oh goodness, I need to get, I don't have much of a choice. All right, so we're going to start out with 4 stores. And so this becomes a little bit of the challenge, because you start going down this rabbit hole where you've got things you're spending money on, and you just keep hemorrhaging some money. I did have to take out a loan in my first location, but here we go. So now they need electric, and again, we're going to do quick store, sell food, basic groceries. Just make sure they have electricity. So we need to extend the electric line. So we're good there. And, you know, maybe we'll go a little bit longer here. Alright, so I should be able now to... Oh, I need a little bit more. Don't have enough room. So, we need these guys to build things out. Obviously, the one is building out the store. But, you know, each of these floors also costs a little bit of upkeep as well. So you do have that challenge. So there we go. So we need food and beverage, portable electronics. See, but they pay $210. Now they need a phone line. So Protame Store or M-Core Networks. I don't know. We'll go with them. Okay, so more people needed. So there we go. Now we may have more contracts. Now again, I need to expand my electrical line, and I need to expand and get a phone line over. So again, you know, it's $13 per. So these things start to add up. You know, we're probably losing money, but at this point, to get 6 stores, now I know what I need. So we're going to add more floor pieces, and you can see those are 12. These are 13. Each floor, the higher it is, the more expensive it is to build. So I may have to get 2 of these to begin with to support the 6 stores, because the next one up supports 15. So that really would be preferred, but it also takes up 2 floors. So let's see where we're at. So portable electronics soon. We're probably going to need some other services. Now the big question, I think we're good here. See, so this was the point. We would have already exceeded our demand for electricity. And that's why we go ahead and kind of build the medium one. It's a bit of an investment, but it'll pay off in the long run. It's just I do need kind of the 50 folks. So I think I'm going to let them build out the floors, because we'll do that overnight. And that way I can place the 4 stores. And, well, I'm probably going to need to place the facility as well. So we'll go ahead and put this here. But this is exactly why I want this moving office. Because... oh, I can't do that. Well, alright. Well, that plan's not going to work. So yeah, all of these costs are just... I'm going to have to eat them. But... it's the price of doing business, right? But I can't add the other stores without bays, because you can see the 2 stores are now filling things up because they need somewhere to put their inventory. Alright. So, books and news, drugstore, flowers, wine and spirits. All pretty straightforward. So we're going to go here, and again, these are all free. Some potential problems start to come up later. Okay, so we need books and magazines. We're going to go with Uptown Magazines. So they just need an electrical line and storage. So let me get things over. Everybody's going to need electricity. So we're going to run electricity all the way over. Alright, and then a drugstore. I'm thinking they're going to have a unique need that I don't have yet. So let's see. The good news is I don't have to advertise for anybody. If I want souvenir shops, I do. Alright, so they just need a phone line, actually. So that's not bad. Alright. I mean, other than I got to run a phone line all the way over, it would almost be better to have them closer. Would save me a few bucks. Alright, and then we need flowers and wine and spirits. I'm thinking there's not much going on with these guys. Columbo's flowers just needs electricity. And then wine and spirits probably also just needs electricity. Yep. So there we go. And we're now up to 26, but then these others are going to come in, so we're going to be up to 30. Now, we're also going to need to get 35 visitors. Let's take a look at the contracts. Increased density, having 100 people that live or work in the building, or we can do 12 medium offices. Office drones. Office workers provide many downs to eat at restaurants. Have 25 office workers in your building. Well, that seems simple enough. More commuters. Oh, I need to finish office drones. What do we want to do as the second thing? Well, nobody is living in my building. So in theory, this should be simpler. So we're going to do that. Alright, so yeah, so we have 16. We don't have offices. See, the sequence might have been a little poor there. Alright, lots of expenses. Ooh, 665 a day. And again, these are, you know, some of these are going to pay me, they're going to basically pay me about 200. So I'm probably going to be okay. They just didn't hit yet. But the problem I'm going to have is, you know, I don't know that I'm going to get 35 visitors. The hope is with the stores that we may. But they're at one time, so I need this number here to show up all at once. And I don't know that that's going to happen with what we have. And then I can't take another contract, but I can start building medium offices, and that'll just put me ahead then. You know, because now I've got all of this, but I don't have the rest. But our little tiny merchandise mart that's looking a little unique here is in pretty good shape. We've gone a little bit long, but I wanted to at least get going. I was hoping I could finish the retail foundation, but the 35 visitors I think are going to be a bit of a challenge. But thus far, I think things are going okay. I think I'm going to be eking out a profit once these shops pay rent today. We'll see how that all goes. But if you've enjoyed this, go ahead and drop a like, please. If you have not, that greatly helps and improves. If you're not a subscriber, please consider doing that. And I will see you next time.